A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome in to a Turn 200 first. It is time for our first ever postseason race. Tonight it is round number 1, race number 1 for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series, and it is here for the very first time under the lights at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Yes, you heard that correctly. New to Atlanta Motor Speedway on the sim is racing under the lights for the very first time, and it'll happen here at PAX Style Racing. Boy, what could possibly go wrong here tonight? I have no idea. My name is Tommy Cook. I've got this one all by myself here tonight as Matt Williamson is out on the call tonight. But we've got an exciting field of drivers for you. I believe a little over 20 in total are going to take to the track for 108 laps here tonight for the playoff season opener, or the postseason opener, rather. Let's take a look at those point standings here. As you see, a sizable advantage right now for Justin Michael as they enter tonight. Plus 35 to the cut line. You can look for your favorite driver there, but I do want to point out we will lose 4 drivers at the end of round number 1, race number 3 at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it's a 5-way tie right now for that final cutoff spot. But it is Mike Milfelt right now would have the tiebreaker, but I believe it is the best finish in the round that will actually break the tie if we should happen to have one for the 12th and final position. We will have to see if that comes to be. But regardless, It's going to be an interesting night here tonight as we get ready to go racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Qualifying is about to wrap up here in just a few seconds. Appreciate anybody that is hanging out with us here already, as it's about time to go racing. Are we excited for the playoffs? Let us know who you're cheering for here. Big advantage for Justin Michael tonight, but it could all come crumbling down in just one of these three upcoming races. Atlanta tonight, Watkins Glen next week, and Bristol the week after that. These are all very tough rounds for the playoffs. But it is time to get rolling, and it is time to get tough here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for round number one, race number one for the playoffs. And this starting lineup will look a little something like this. Taking tonight's pole position will, of course, be, why wouldn't it be, Justin Michael on the front row. The driver that he held off for his first career win is Will Kirk. That would have been Will Kirk's first career win, rather, at Charlotte Motor Speedway earlier this season. That is quite the dynamic front row here for Atlanta Motor Speedway. Row number two is Rob Haynes starting in the third spot, and Charlie Widener on his outside. Rob, a winner at Talladega earlier this season. Widener, a winner at Pocono. Greg Mullins, Scott Patton continue the playoff vibes rolling here, as it's Mullen, former winner at Daytona, starting in fifth. Patton, always one to watch out for here on the fast tracks. He starts at sixth. Brad Slagle again in the playoffs. He will start in seventh. Then it's Andre Savala, the first non-playoff driver, starting in the eighth position. Matt Montebolt is not in the playoffs either. He will start in ninth. Kerry Cleaver is in the playoffs. He will start in 10th. It is Christopher Howell and Dana Rogers on row number 6. Beyond there, we have Ryan McRoberts, playoff drivers, starting in 13th. Riley Tilton back at P14. Heath Smith and Johnny Hamby on row number 8. They are both in the playoffs, starting deep in the field here, as it's Chris Voiles and Matt Sisler on row number 9. Sisler, a playoff driver. Mike Milfeld deep in the pack here, starting in 19th. Jack Watts will start in P20. Bill Paradise not in the playoffs. He will start 21st. Zachary Groover is the final playoff driver in the field here tonight, and he will start in the 22nd and final position. Let's give a look here at the weather conditions for tonight. 83-degree ambient temperature, only an 86-degree track temp, as these drivers are getting ready to roll off of pit road. Should be cool conditions for what has proven to be a very tricky track as time has gone on, especially with this low downforce truck package. We have yet to see it in action at Atlanta Motor Speedway here on the channel. We've seen plenty of racing here at the new Atlanta, but we have yet to really see what this low downforce package will do. I can tell you the Xfinity car racing the official races here last week. Didn't do any truck races, but doing Xfinity races, this car has been awfully loose. I think they took some grip out of this track. It may not be as much of an issue for the trucks, but maybe it will. Hello to Rob Williams hanging out with us. Matt Burkhart not out on the track here tonight, although he is qualified for the playoffs. So that might make things a little bit easier for some of the drivers that are below the cut line. Hoping to see Matt. I know you said you may or may not be in action here for the rest of the season, but we'll hope to catch you before the end of round one here. It is win and you're in. That is the format here. So somebody is looking for a big win to move themselves on to round number 2 and not have to deal with anything else for the next 2 weeks. Justin Michael and Will Kirk on the front row. And we are racing here at Atlanta. The playoffs are underway. Lap number 1 is in the books. The spot belonged to Will Kirk at the line, so he will pick up a crucial bonus point. You notice a lot of the drivers past the top 5 in the standings were very, very tight to the cut line. So every spot matters. Chasing the stage here, stage caution will come out on lap 32. We did not see a caution way back in the very first revival race of Max V here at the new Atlanta. Until green flag pit stops happen. Green flag pit stops tonight will look a little bit different as everybody will have to pit off of turn number 3. You cannot pit off of turn number 4. That should help clean up the pit stops a little bit. So anytime you see somebody have to come down pit road under green, they will have to pull off down the back straightaway and down onto the apron through turns 3 and 4. There's a move for Kirk to jump down to the bottom in front of Justin Michael. That will open things up here for Widener and Patton on the top side. Already Atlanta under the lights looks spectacular. Long overdue, but very excited and a welcomed addition. Below that red line is a no-no here tonight. Fuel window tonight, about 40 to 45 laps, depending on where you are at, out on track. For Will Kirk, it's probably closer to 40. If you're riding at the back of this field like Jack Watts and Zachary Groover are, it's probably closer to 45. But again, they won't have to worry about the fuel yet because stage caution will come out on lap 32, or at the completion of. Michelle Kirk cheering on the race leader, Will Kirk. That is Rob Haynes drifting to the top side now in front of Widener and Patton. Seeing if maybe we could get this top line to work or come in a little bit nicer. The 199 knows how to do it on the super speedways. 2 victories in 2024. One of them came at Talladega, which will be in the playoffs a little bit later on. Rob Haynes hoping to make it to the round of 8. With 2 victories and a couple stage wins, he has a bit more of a cushion than some of the other drivers do to the cut line entering tonight. One of those drivers that is quite literally right on the cut line is dropping down, and that is Brad Slagle. Just as I was about to call out how he was in the top 10, going to get some stage points, he decides he's had enough. No fast repairs, so you don't get any do-overs in case something goes wrong. The 052 has seen enough for him to make that call here. Potentially we'll lose out on some stage points if we don't have a caution and a wreck. The stop line is starting to make some ground. Widener pushing Rob Haynes. Almost even here with Will Kirk. I will tell you this much. These trucks look a little unsteady. Last time we went super speedway racing was just a couple of weeks ago, and it was Greg Mullen pushing the driver in front of him to victory. That was Justin Michael. And that is exactly how they run right now as well. Big check up there for Greg. This is how it looks from the top side, watching Charlie Widener try to get a foothold here with the 199 on his front bumper. Look at these trucks dancing around. Watch the wheel here for Charge and Charlie. As now it is, whoa, Maul and Michael jumping up to the top side. Maul and Michael, teammates, have had enough of Will Kirk and will try to take the lead for themselves here down the back straightaway. I think Michael will be clear. I'm not sure about Maul. But Kirk now surging back on the inside with help from Matt Monsenbalt. But this bottom line has broken up big time. You see Kerry Cleaver is the third truck in line there. And there are at least 3 to 4 truck lengths between he and Matt Monsenbalt. Still, they're able to hang pretty well here on the bottom despite not having any help behind. But this top line's momentum starting to become a bit too much. Maul nearly clear now of the 9. We'll see when he does clear, if he does clear, if they will drop down to the bottom. Maul is certainly clear. Will he take the spot? Doesn't look like it. Rob Haynes might. He's got a run here. He will drop down to the bottom now. So the 199 playing a little disruption. Down to the bottom in front of Will Kirk. Maul and Michael pushing here. Locking bumpers. Maul, or rather Kirk and Haynes now hooked up here as, whoa, there's one super loose there in the back. Okay, we did not have an accident on our hands. Haynes pulls even with Justin Michael, who may be regretting not jumping down to the bottom at this point. A little bit tense. If you're watching the Daredevil series last night at Pocono, maybe not that tense. But still, it's a bit unnerving, especially knowing what some of these drivers have on the line. First ever playoff race on Turn 200, or postseason race in any capacity. Of course, the Venom Truck Series will have their chase starting soon. Truck 200 will also have a chase format in Season 3, but best to get the practice in now. With the standard NASCAR playoff format, it is win and you're in. And win and advance to round number 2. That is what is on the line for one of the 15 playoff drivers who are in the field here tonight. No Matt Burkhart. But one of the other 15 can lock themselves into round number 2. Or somebody not in the playoffs like Matt Monsenbalt and Andrei Savala could play a little spoiler. Riley Tilton as well. A couple other drivers in the field. It is a pack-style race. Anything's on the table. Haynes looking to be a bit loose here on the bottom. It cost the bottom line here just a skosh of momentum down the back straightaway. Michael will be clear again. We'll see if he wants to stick with his help with Greg Mall or if he will drop down. Just heard a truck go by, not too far in front of the field. That'll be Brad Slagle. Good news for him is if he ends up getting lapped here in the next 10 laps, he will be the only truck one lap down. This will put him right back in the hornet's nest that he dropped out of the pack to avoid in the first place. In arguably a worse position. Getting swallowed up by the field here. He'll have to go down below the apron. Kirk drifting up the track just a bit. And this bottom line can't quite stay together. I would imagine it's getting pretty hard to hold. Even at this point in the run. 4 extra sets of tires, and these drivers may actually need them, contrary to what most pack-style races require. I would imagine tires are definitely on the menu, and you don't want to take rights only like you do at some pack-style races, because this truck will get borderline undrivably loose. See Kurt bobbling there on the bottom, trying to stay right tucked in behind the Canadian Rob Haynes. This is now Slagle. He's going to have to stay to the top side of the track. The trial was probably the best place that this could happen, but he will have to stay high here into turn number 3 as well. Oh, boy. I don't know if Scott Patton realizes how close he got. Slagle will tag the wall. There's Marilyn cheering on Will, who's fighting hard here for stage points and potentially a stage win. Although he will have to find a way through the 199 to do it. A couple of other drivers have fallen off the tail end of the field, including Dana Rogers, Jack Watts, but should not be in jeopardy of going a lap down here before the stage break, coming up on the completion of lap 32. Maul and Michael both now well clear, able to drop down if they wish. They're going to stay to the top side for now. They've got Widener and Patton behind them. Matt Montalban has abandoned ship there and gone to the top side. I would imagine it does, Matt. There's a move down to the bottom for Matt Sisseler. Mike Milfelt has worked his way closer to the front of the field after starting shotgun, or pretty close to it. 2 laps to go. Pit road is closed. Haynes and Kirk trying to get hooked up here. The 199 looking for one last charge to pick up an extra playoff point and 10 bonus points towards round number 1. And Scott Patton will aid in the effort here as he will jump down to the bottom. Every point matters. 1 to go. Michael on the outside, Haynes on the inside. Can't imagine they'll get too racy here for the stage win, but you never know. Kirk looking for a big run here down the backstretch to tuck up behind the 199. Justin Michael may have him covered off. Out of turn 4 into the quad oval. Justin Michael will win stage number 1. Maul in second, Haynes in third, Widener and Kirk your top 5. So Justin Michael with yet another stage victory. And that will be our first caution of the night. Potentially could be the only one, but something tells me it probably won't be. That's just a guess, though. Now, the rule that I mentioned for pitting only applies under green. So if these drivers are going to come down pit road, and they will, they can pit off of turn number 4 here. But if you're pitting under green, you have to pit off of the backstretch and be below the red and yellow line, or the red and white line, excuse me, before turn number 3. So Michael will hit the final pit stall. And we'll see who will win the race off of pit road. And it should be Justin Michael, and it is. Haynes out second, Maul out third, Widener, Kirk, Montembault, Patton, Sisler, Milfelt, and Savala will be the first 10 off. It's about the way they came in. So that is an extra point for Michael to carry through. The regular season champ gets 15 extra playoff points on top of the 20 that he already had. So now he has 36 to carry over from round to round until we get to the Final Four. That is assuming that he will make it to the Final Four. That's assuming that he'll make it out of round number 1. It could all go wrong, even with a huge points buffer. It could go wrong tonight. Michael and Haynes on row 1. Maul and Widener on row 2. Montembault and Kirk, I believe, on row 3. Montembault and Patton on row 3. Kirk and Savala on row 4. Sisler, McRoberts, row 5. Hamby and Tilton on row 6. Howell and Paradise on row 7. Cleaver and Voiles on row 8. Groover, that's Zachary Groover, and Heath Smith, who I don't believe got any stage points. We'll be back on row number 9. Dana Rogers, Brad Slagle got the lucky dog. He should be at the tail of the field, although it looks like maybe. Extra trips down pit road for Mike Milfelt and Jack Watts, so they line up towards the tail of the field instead. Didn't know we had restart zone cams. This one looks good. Geico restart zone, and the field is under the control of Justin Michael here. Now, it's the mad dash to the finish. We're underway. Good start for Michael, although you don't want to get too big of a jump. Haynes and Maul could get a big run here on the 87. I think Maul is going to stay tucked in behind Justin Michael here, and that will put Haynes as the odd man out on the bottom, as Widener and Kirk both stay up top with the race leaders. Justin Michael's so good at the plate tracks, or the pack racing tracks, if you will. Finally got that first Max V Super Speedway victory at Daytona a couple of weeks ago after finishing second at Gaboon a number of times. Math Montemalt hanging here in the top 5 still. He's been close to the front of this field all night. He could deny somebody punching their ticket into the next round if he were to pull off a first Max V victory tonight. He is not one of the playoff drivers. Next week we'll have the playoff drivers on the scoring bug denoted in green. But with Matt Williamson not being here tonight and that being a last-minute thought by me, we did not have that prepared, and I don't know how to prepare it. So we'll have it ready for next week at Watkins Glen, which will be the second round of round number 1. I'm sure a lot of these guys have moves that they want to make, but now is too early to make him. With a restart on lap number 35, these guys are probably eyeing about a lap 75, maybe 77, 78 pit stop. Or some drivers might be thinking that they'll pit on lap 54. Split this race right in half. Although, actually, they wouldn't do that because they wouldn't be able to make it on fuel. Now that I say that out loud. So let's just stick with 75, and if somebody comes in earlier, then they come in earlier. But it's been Michael uncontested up to this point. Rob Haynes now with some momentum here with Matt Montemalt behind. And that is Canadian Power pushing their way to the front of this field here in Atlanta. Haynes will lead him across the line. Little kick pot cam. You see Montemalt getting loose. I think we have some kind of a problem at the back. I'm showing an off track here for Jack Watts. And indeed, he is well off the pace. Something has happened to the 77, but we are still green. We'll take a look at that here in just a moment. Michael continues to lead. Let's take a look at this here quickly as, whoa, Watts and Rogers got tangled together there, and some contact from Chris Voiles to the 77 of Jack Watts. He does a phenomenal job not to absolutely junk that car. Unfortunately, he will be well behind the rest of the pack, upwards of 10 seconds to the nearest car. And pretty much half a lap behind the rest of the field here. Haynes again inching his way forward. But it's going to take a lot for him to get to clear Justin Michael. The best he could do for now is nickel and dime him for some laps led. Justin Michael's race here way back in the opening race of 2023 in the Max V Revival season ended prematurely. He was one of the first drivers taken out of the event in a last lap crash that saw most of the field get taken out. Michael did not get to make it that far to be involved in that. Kyle Chadwick won that first race. And none of the podium finishers are here tonight. Matt Rodolasso finished second and Andrew Schulte finished third. Schulte, of course, if you missed the bulletin, not in the playoffs here. He's removed himself from eligibility. Saying hello to him if he happens to watch this, and all the best. This bottom line is very fair weather. Does not get along very well for very long. But when it does get along, it gets along pretty well. But now, just as I say that, Justin Michael decides he wants the bottom. So that will open it up for Greg Mall, potentially with help from Charlie Widener. As Michael on the bottom will not lead that lap. It'll be Greg Mall. Haynes clipped the apron there, and that is risky business for sure. Oh, Montalban up the track a bit. Nearly into the door of Matt Sisler, who's creeped back into the picture in the 93 truck. And the field is coming up here on the 77 of Jack Watts. Who again does not have much damage. He'll be able to hang with the pack here. But that incident did not trigger the caution. Brad Slagle got passed up without much issue last time, but they also caught him in the quad oval. This time it looks like it'll happen down the backstretch and in turn number 3. Watts right up there against the wall. He's doing all he can do without going down to the apron. Maul continuing to poke ahead here on the top side, not able to get fully clear of Justin Michael, however. Now will be clear. Will he take the spot down low? Looks like maybe he's migrating towards the bottom or trying to dump some dirty air on the 87. But he's missed his opportunity for now. Oh, boy. Contact there with Widener. And he's lucky he did not get put in the middle there, 3 wide. That was about to be a bad time for everybody, including and especially Greg Maul. Haynes again down onto the apron. Oh, Maul got awfully loose there. And now some blinking for Charlie Widener. That will rock this top line. But they're right back to it up top. And everybody is starting to get really free. The track conditions are improving. This is still a fritzy setup. Very fidgety. Oh, there's one up into the wall. That's Kerry Cleaver. Cleaver will drop all the way to the back of the field here. Wow, that was Kirk and Montalban making a little bit of contact there out of turn number 3. Does not get much closer than that before. It is a big problem for a lot of people. In just about 2 or 3 laps time, we could start to see some early pit stops. This is about when the window to the end of the race will open. I would say pit stops could start at lap 68, and they'll have to be done by lap 80. if we make it that far without a caution. And it's not unreasonable to think that some of these drivers will be taking 4 tires. I can't imagine they would take 2. These trucks would get awfully loose. So it'd either be 0 or 4. But do you want to risk a no tire stop here under green for the sake of handling? Michael fighting back here on the bottom. Not much has changed. Mal, Haynes, and Michael have really dominated this race here. Will Kirk has got some licks in. Charlie Widener has been close to the front all night. I would say those are probably your favorites at this moment in time before we see how pit stops shake out. We'll see if we've got any takers this time. No. Should start to see the great migration from everybody that's on the top side down to the bottom lane. Oh, as Mal got awfully close to hitting the wall there. Walked right up to it. And again, working this top side. No takers again. Everybody looking from laps 75 to 80 for the most part. Oh, there's Kirk jumping down to the bottom with inches to spare between Savala and Montalban. Mal now going to work down to the bottom. He gets clear of Michael as this top line starts to break up. Well timed for him. Charlie Widener is going to have to find his own way through. Here comes Greg Mall down pit road. Riley Tilton also looks like he dipped off there. Those should be the only two. As you also saw Dana Rogers coming down pit road. It is indeed Mall and Tilton, the first two, down. Who else will follow? Looks like Justin Michael is coming down pit road. Rob Haynes as well. Matt Montalban. Will Kirk also down. Looking for clean entries here. Savala there with a bit of brake lock up behind Will Kirk, but everybody else does a nice job. All right, let's see. Who will be coming this time? Charlie Widener leading the field there. It's Matt Sisler in second. And it looks like no takers this time. Nope, Widener a late call. Sisler and Milfelt will follow. Bill Paradise, Kerry Cleaver, Jack Watts, Zachary Groover all in as well. That leaves the top six out. Patton, Howell, Hamby, Slagle, McRoberts, and Smith. This is Patton, Hamby, Slagle, Howell, and Smith. All coming down this time. Ryan McRoberts is now the only driver who is yet to come down pit road. Oh, Scott Patton, Johnny Hamby, Brad Slagle, all with problems. A disastrous pit stop. What just happened? Here's Patton. Oh, Johnny Hamby cooks it in there just a bit too much. Into Patton. Oh, man. Ryan McRoberts now down pit road. This is Heath Smith leaving pit road. As it will be Will Kirk at the front of the field. Justin Michael and Rob Haynes. They have separated themselves from everybody else. But Greg Mall, Matt Montalbalt, and this entire group are within draft range. They should be able to catch up. Oh, all moved up the track there by the 95, but they are catching this front group in a hurry. Will Kirk bridging the gap as we are pushing the pusher. Milfelt into Widener, into Mall. Andre Savala now into the top 5. I'm sure Patton will be hoping for a caution to get caught back up to the field here. Just realized we don't have James Lehman here tonight either, so we've got 14 of the 16 out on track. Still in this race, nobody is out. Problems for Patton and Hamby on this pit cycle have relegated them to the back of the field. Slagle also involved in that. There's Chris Voiles, who will become the next driver to get lapped. He stays to the top side of the track. So everybody is good to the end now on fuel. Question is, are we good to the end without a crash? Rob Haynes would love win number 3 on the season and punch his ticket straight to round number 2. Oh, that's a problem. Greg Wall into Charlie Widener. Widener's spinning. We are still green, but if Widener comes to a stop on the track, it may trigger a caution. And no caution is thrown. So it stays green after another incident. Mall now going to have to put in the work here to catch back up. That is our biggest on-track incident of the night, no doubt, and it still is not going to trigger a caution as the ticker moves to laps to go. Let's take a look at what happened here. Oh, that's Sisler up in the wall. Montalbalt checks up. Mall down into Widener with help from Dana Rogers. The 95 will go for a spin. Again, Widener does a fantastic job not to make that situation any worse than it had to be. Riley Tilton into the fold in the top 5. Starting to get awfully chippy back there. No doubt about that. Top line starting to work. Greg Maul is back into the mix. Justin Michael through to the lead. Mike Milfelt is through to second, and now will make the decision for Justin Michael. 87 down to the bottom, 155 to the top, with help from Matt Montalban. Haynes now relegated to push once again. And certainly the pay window is close to open. 21 laps to go here at the Strut. Mike Milfelt in a great spot after picking up another podium finish last week. 6 career podiums with Max V, 0 victories. That could all change here in 19 and a half laps. Right down to side draft the 87. And he was leading at the line. The help from behind coming and going for both lines. It is definitely getting dicey. Some might say Ryan dicey. The question is Milfelt trying to get clear, or is he content to ride here on the top side? He continues to show the way. Oh, there's Will Kirk going to the top. Kirk leaving the bottom. We've seen the bottom work a little with 2 trucks in tandem. But I'm sure the 199 is hoping that Zavala will catch up. As you can see, this top side with an extra truck up there starting to work right away. Hello to James Lehman in the chat. Wish you were out on track. We got 15 laps to go. Only one caution here tonight. It was for the stage. We have had a couple of incidents that did not bring out a caution. One of which on pit road involving Scott Patton and Johnny Hamby. We've seen Charlie Widener take it for a spin, and Jack Watts also take it for a spin. But awaiting the big one, it is lurking as these trucks are driving very, very loose. You can see everybody, top line, bottom line, doesn't matter. They are swaying side to side. And not just because they're trying to get good pushes here. These trucks are free. Michael gaining the ground here on the bottom, despite the numbers moving to the top side. Michael, Haynes, and Mall have led the most laps here tonight. Kirk and Milfelt also leading laps. A couple other drivers getting in there for a lap or two during the green flag pit cycle. But this has been Michael's race here tonight. Not a surprise, and he wants to punch his ticket early into round number 2. Greg Mall with a look to the top side. He is going to make it 3 wide and disrupt this top line. Oh, he's into the wall. Kirk gets into him as well, and that is big problems now for Greg Mall. Hard into the wall, and that truck is expired. Still no caution. That is the end of the race, no doubt, for Greg Mall with 11 laps to go. Will Kirk got a piece of that as well. Hopefully not too big of a piece. It does disrupt this front pack. Ten to go. Oh, Haynes again off the apron there. That's so difficult to corral, and he's hit the apron multiple times at this point. It's just going to keep getting harder and harder. Michael now clear on the 155. He will have lane choice if this 155 starts to get another run, but he does not jump on it quick enough. Milfelt back beside. As I've been notified of a crash, Charlie Widener looks like, and that will bring out the caution as there you see Widener down on the apron. That is the first caution of the race inside of 10 laps to go. First caution for incident here tonight. And Widener, another playoff driver with a problem, will join Greg Mall in the garage. That is a lucky break for a couple of different drivers, including Scott Patton. We'll see who gets the lucky dog here momentarily. But let's take a look at what has brought out our first caution for incident here tonight. This is Widener in the yellow 95. He's riding behind Patton. Oh, and just gets hooked by Ryan McRoberts there in the 23. Huge miscommunication between those two. We'll see if we can get a better look at this on the Whiplash SimCam package at full speed. McRoberts, it kind of looked like netcode, to be honest. There seemed to be a bit of the bubble between the two. McRoberts trying to tuck in but behind the 95. And Charging Charlie's night is over, and that will put him in serious jeopardy. Heading into Watkins Glen and Bristol the next 2 weeks, because there's no way that truck is doing any more laps. Let's take a look now. We'll have to head back a ways here in the running order to find Greg Mall's incident. All right, so this is the incident between Mall and Kirk, at least I believe anyway. This may be a bit too early. And I think it is. Okay, we'll have to keep looking for Greg Mall's incident here. You're not missing anything out on the track, don't worry. Let's jump ahead. We'll see if this is going to be the incident for Greg Mall. Of course, it didn't mark it. Have to try and jump ahead. There we go. We found it. All right, so let's back this up. We'll go to find Greg Mall here. He is out by himself here on this top line. Nobody comes with him. Smacks the wall. Will Kirk comes on him very quickly. And not a lot that Mall or Kirk in that situation can do. Mall could have stayed tucked in line there, but looking for anything here. After being one of the dominant trucks here tonight, his night is over. Okay. We did have some activity on pit road, including Justin Michael coming to pit. So he has now surrendered the lead to Mike Milfeld. Field is doubling up. Lights are off on the pace truck, so we'll come back to green this time. And good timing for Sarah to hop in the chat as Riley Tilton is now on the outside front row. Milfeld will elect the bottom. He'll have help from Will Kirk there in the 9. How about Brad Slagle? Slagle's night started pretty rough with a good catch and save early in this race. Went a lap down, got the lucky dog on the stage, has been very quiet ever since, but was involved in the Scott Patton incident on pit road entry. But he is now back up into the top 5. Ryan McRoberts, despite his involvement in that last caution, he will line up here in 5th with Andre Savala starting to his outside. And there's Justin Michael in spot number 7, and Heath Smith, who has been very, very quiet. The Daytona winner will restart here in 8th. 5 laps to go. Are these going to be the final 5 laps? Something tells me they are not. Pace truck is off. 5 laps to go at the stripe. Back to green. These drivers are scattering every which way. As Kirk and Tilton going side by side here for second. Milfeld leading the bunch down the backstretch. Big run potentially coming here as, oh boy, we're almost 2 and 3 wide, and there's a problem. That's McRoberts up into Heath Smith. Calamity. That will certainly bring out a caution here. As, damn it, I can't find the button. There we go. Big problems there. Heath Smith was nearly upside down. That's Andre Savala. Johnny Hamby also involved in this one. And it all started with a bad push from Justin Michael to Ryan McRoberts to kick that one off. That is caution flag number 2 for incident. That will send the field into overtime. Here, let's stop it here and back it up. Get a closer camera angle here. Watching for Justin Michael here on the 23. We'll see if the 23 maybe will get on the apron. No, and it's just Michael running into the right rear quarter panel of the 23 truck. Oh, but also Smith and Savala with an unrelated incident to set that off as well. The 86 into the 1 truck. One flying through the air. Oh, that's Zachary Groover, and Smith does go flying. Oh, boy. I don't know if Heath Smith's okay. That would be serious trouble. There's Johnny Hamby spinning as well. Rough night for him. Let's back this up and see what happens here with Heath Smith and Andre Savala. We'll go kickpot cam. Oh, Savala is loose. Will get up, and then Heath Smith gets flung into the catch fence. This is going to be funny to say. He definitely will have rear end damage here. But the cockpit does not take damage. The roof does not take damage. Heath Smith might be okay. We'll have to see. Okay at a super speedway race means that you can get it back out onto the track and finish the race and pick up some spots of the drivers who crashed in the final lap, because no doubt we'll be seeing that as we get ready to head into overtime. And Mike Milfelt, who started back at the 19th position in this race, currently leading the field. Hello to Greg Mall. Yeah, definitely going to be pretty interesting here as the lights go off on the pace truck. Two drivers further down in the points standings than they'd like to be entering tonight. Mike Milfelt came in a 5-way tie for the cutoff spot. What a win it would be for the 155. Will Kirk, 2 points to the good. Entering tonight, he's on the outside front row. Brad Slagle in a similar position in the 052. It would be a big win for him. And Riley Tilton missed out on the playoffs this season, and he has had winning speed at multiple points. He would love to play spoiler. Don't forget Justin Michael lurking back there in 5th. Ryan McRoberts also in the playoffs. Could be a spoiler here. Rob Haynes way back there in P8 after a strong night. He'll look to pick off a few spots here. Into overtime, first of 3 possible attempts. 2 drivers on the front row and 2 drivers on row number 2 going for their first ever Max V CNC Home Design Truck Series victory. .08 miles to go. We are back under the green flag. Big jump for Milfelt. That's not what you want. Look at the run forming up on the top side. Michael going up top. Will Kirk will go up top, and he will hit the wall. Stalls the progress of the 88. Tilton and Slagle bouncing off one another's door. It's swung back in the favor of the 155. He needs to see the white flag, and he will. This is it. 1 to go. Kirk now lining up on the back bumper of Brad Slagle, who's looking to play spoiler down the back straightaway. Kirk jostling the 052. It's 3 wide. Slagle puts Kirk into the wall. They're wrecking behind. Tilton underneath. Milfelt at the front of the field. It's finally Mike Milfelt's time here in the Max V CNC Home Design Truck Series. Mike Milfelt is through to round number 2. Milfelt, Rob Haynes, Riley Tilton, your top 3 at the stripe. And after 6 podium finishes in Max V, Mike Milfelt will finally be the top dog here tonight at Atlanta. You think he's pumped up? He will park it at the line, and we will take a look here at the final lap. We'll watch it from up top. Aerial coverage tonight, not provided by Goodyear. Watch the runs develop. After Kirk and Michael tangled, Kirk had to slot in behind the 052. But he's giving him a great push here, and Tilton is not helping the 155 at all. All of a sudden, Kirk finds himself to the outside. Slagle drifts up to try and throw some dirty air, but there's not room to go 3 wide here. That stalls out Tilton. Haynes is able to sneak around, and it's Mike Milfeld to win the race here tonight. Let's watch this from Will Kirk's point of view, as Kirk will have to settle for a 9th place finish tonight. He sees he's got folks coming up behind him. Slagle drifting up the track. And he has to watch it slip away. What could have been a podium finish here tonight, Kirk will have to settle for 9th. As Milfeld still at the line here, we will go ahead and take a look at your full finishing rundown after 111 wild laps here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Mike Milfeld finally a winner with Max V. He will take the win. Rob Haynes in second. Great points tonight for him. And Riley Tilton will round out your podium. We'll talk to all 3 drivers here in just a second. Math Monsenbolt, I believe a career best 4th place finish here tonight. Ryan McRoberts in truck number 23 takes another career top 5 at a pack race. That is the 2nd of his career. Well done to the 23 here tonight. Justin Michael will finish in P6. He still has plenty of cushion to the cut line, no doubt. Kerry Cleaver in 7th. Good night for him. Matt Sisler in 8th. Will Kirk in 9th. Good recovery for Scott Patton, but certainly not what he wanted here tonight in the 10th position. 11th for Jack Watts. 12th for Zachary Groover. 13th then for Brad Slagle, who looked like he could be on to win it there through the final turn. Heath Smith in 14th. Christopher Howell will finish in 15th. Dana Rogers in 16th. Chris Voiles. Andre Savala, Johnny Hamby, and Bill Paradise, your top 20. Then Charlie Widener and Greg Mall, 2 drivers in the playoffs with DNFs. That is not how they wanted their Atlanta Motor Speedway to go to open the playoffs up. All right, it's time to talk to tonight's podium finishers. And as soon as I unmute my microphone, we will talk to the driver who will finish in 3rd here tonight. It's Riley Tilton in truck number 58. Welcome back to Booth 200 here. Good run here, solid run here tonight for you.
Yeah, I need to catch my breath after that one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Me out.
But, yeah, what a run for you here. You were close to the top 5 there for that entire last run through the last couple of cautions as well. Talk me through trying to position yourself to get a good finish and potentially win there in the final, even 15 to 20 laps or so.
Well, throughout most of the race, I was stuck in the middle of the pack, but practically nowhere to go. No one was making 3 wide moves or anything because of how narrow this place is. But I just hope for some luck on my side tonight, and thankfully I had luck tonight and almost came out with a victory. But I hope that looked as cool as it did.
I'd say it looks pretty cool, and I think it looks pretty cool anytime that you can get yourself up onto the podium here. I know you wanted to be in the playoffs. You had a good run going last week at Darlington, but even during the playoffs, to not be in it for the points championship, I would imagine you're still planning on running the majority of the races and still, I know, gunning for that first win.
Yeah, I honestly hope that tonight was going to be the first one, but even though I didn't make the playoffs, this is a makeup race after I ended up on my roof last week. But that was fun, really fun.
Well, I'm glad it went well for you here tonight. Congrats on another podium. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
Shout out to my mom, my girlfriend, and my dad for sure. My dad was a big helper and supporter of this, but wish I could have gotten a win for him tonight. But third place, I'll take. But go get him at the road course next week.
Sounds like a plan. We'll see you at the Glen. We'll hopefully talk to you then.
Yeah, hopefully we'll finish one spot better than we did at Sonoma.
There you go. Riley Tilton, your third place finisher. We'll switch it up now to Rob Haynes, who joins us here in booth 200 as your runner-up finisher here tonight. Congrats on a solid run here tonight.
Thanks, Tommy. I appreciate that, man.
I mean, you were up front making noise all night, whether you were in front of Justin Michael, behind Justin Michael, getting help from Greg Ball or Charlie Widener. I mean, you are always a threat on these pack-style races, and you hardly left the front of the field all night.
That was I wasn't sure how to play it out tonight, Tommy. I thought many times about pulling to the inside there. It got a little bit rough there in the first 25 laps, and I thought about pulling it to the inside and just hanging around the back for a while. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it's hard to pass here. I mean, the two lines are pretty much locked, and I didn't see anybody get the third line going. So I'm kind of glad I hung out, and I had a bit of trouble there at the pit stop, that last pit stop after the final caution there, and I lost a couple of spots, but hey, it worked out good, and congrats to Michael there on the win. Great job on his part.
You say these two lanes are locked kind of speed-wise, which is true, but these trucks do not look locked at all. Everybody was all over the place running those two lines. I mean, did these trucks feel as unsteady as they looked?
Yeah, through the run it started to push, and on the inside, I preferred the inside, running the inside. I don't know why, but like something like Daytona or Talladega, I'm gonna want to run on the outside so I can see what's happening. But here, I don't know. I just felt comfortable down on that inside, but it did start to push late in the run, so you had to get off the throttle going into both corners, 1 and 3, and just not drift up into the guy next to you there. Tough, yeah. The truck was kind of weird. I almost got turned around on coming out of 2. Now I'm not sure if it was because the guy was maybe a bit too close behind me, or whether the tires were giving away. But late in the run, it started to feel a little bit loose off the corner. So that was it was a lot of fun tonight, Tommy.
Well, I'm glad you had fun, and it certainly went well, I would say. Led some laps. Got some stage points, got yourself a P2, feeling a little bit more comfortable, I would imagine, with the next 2 races in round number 1 here, with a little extra cushion beneath you now.
100% agree, Tommy. That's what I was looking for. A little bit of not to relax, but to get up there close to the first spot. That's where I want to be. And I came into tonight, like I said earlier, I had 2 choices to make: either run this thing full blast nonstop or lay back. And I'm glad I stuck with just going full blast, because it worked out. I got some good teammates up front there, and man, we ran good. The whole field ran good, and proud of this league and the teams.
Yeah, good game playing here tonight. Well executed. Congrats on the P2. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
Oh, well, you guys for sure in the broadcast booth, and anybody who's watching. I appreciate everything, and it's, all of us do. We all go back and check the views and the likes. It's we have fun, and thanks to my daughters. I'll say that. Thanks, Tommy. I appreciate second place, man.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we'll talk to you again here in the next couple of weeks. But congrats on a good run here tonight.
Thanks, Tommy. I hope I'll talk to you soon as well.
Now it's time to talk to your race winner. Finally, 6 podium appearances here on Turn 200 with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series, but it's finally the 155's night. Mike Milfelt Jr. is going to park it in Victory Lane and punch his ticket to round number 2. Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
What a night for you. Fantastic stuff. I mean, starting deep in this field, luckily for you, things went pretty well here tonight, or pretty clean, I guess, by the time you picked yourself up to the top 10. And in a time where there was not a lot of passing, you seemed to pass about 10 cars pretty quickly to get some stage points there.
Yeah, I wasn't real worried about the stage points. It was just finishing the race. Wherever it stage ended, the stage ended, I wasn't real worried about that. But that was a fun race.
And then after that, I mean, it was full go for you. You hardly left the back half of the top 5 for most of the night. A couple of cautions happen. You find yourself up front with some pit stops there late. I mean, not unusual to see you at the front or towards the front in these pack style races, but Justin Michael giving you the lead there, that was kind of all you needed.
Yeah, I really appreciate those guys pitting. That was nice of them.
Not that maybe you didn't, or not that maybe you needed it, because you were actually making pretty good ground there on the top side before that final caution came out. You won that race on the bottom. Is that the place you wanted to be there on the bottom right there by the apron, or would you prefer to stick up top if you had the help?
Man, I was debating that. I think the high line would actually get a run off of 4 better, but I didn't want to take the chance of somebody getting inside of me and putting me in the wall. So best just to run the bottom line just to be safe. And Riley did a good job of trying to get underneath me in that last corner.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of things went your way there on that final restart because, I mean, I don't know if you knew how big of a run Slagle and Kirk were getting on you. And
It was huge.
Kirk had a huge run as well on the green flag lap there as well and got up into the wall. And Tilton, I mean, he really lagged back on that restart. You were kind of a sitting duck out there out front. But things just kept falling your way. And after a season of them kind of not falling your way, got to feel good to be on the right side of it for once.
It's kind of nice for a change, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great race. I'm so glad to get my first win at Max V. Thanks to all the admins over there, James, Scott, Justin, all the admins. They do a great job. Thanks to Highline Racing. Unfortunately, my teammates did not have such a great night. So hopefully next week we can go after it and get them a lot further up.
Well, go celebrate a win. You're on. You can relax here for the next couple of weeks as you are on to round number 2. Congratulations on a long overdue victory, and we'll hopefully talk to you again here soon.
Thanks, guys. See you.
So that is Mike Milfelt with the win, his first win in Max V competition. Like we said, 6 podiums before tonight before he's finally able to park it in victory lane. So great job for the 155. We don't have live updated point standings, unfortunately, to give you on the way out of the stream here tonight. But rest assured, the 155 is through. Justin Michael is still technically the points leader. And a couple of other drivers who had bad nights will be looking to bounce back next week at Watkins Glen. That is where you can find us next Thursday night at the usual 9:15, 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. But before we go on that diatribe, thank you, everybody who was hanging out with us here tonight. Greg Mull hopped in a little bit earlier than we would have liked, that's for sure, but it's always great to get to talk to Greg a little bit. Sarah cheering on Riley, willed him on to a second-place finish here tonight. Flinky Roberts hanging out with us, James Lehman. Hopefully see him back on track next week. Michelle Kirk and Marilyn Beck, thank you very much for supporting Will. So close to a good run. We'll hope for that next week at the Watkins Glen track. Matt Burkhart also hanging out with us, and Rob Williams was the first person in the chat here tonight. So shout out to Rob. And, yeah, great night here tonight at Atlanta. Some drivers will be happy leaving the quad oval, and some drivers will be looking for a big bounce back next week at the 2.45-mile road course in upstate New York. Between now and then, we don't have a lot, actually. Tuesday night, the Venom Truck Series, that'll be the next time we are on air, as Formula Super Series is still off for another week. So Tuesday night, Venom Truck Series is at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Then we will roll into the Daredevil Series on Wednesday night, and that will be at Spa-Francorchamps for the second time in channel history. And that will lead us into Watkins Glen next Thursday night for round number 2. Or I should say round number 1, race number 2 from Watkins Glen. Got to get used to that vernacular. But thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us. Thank you, as always, to CNC Home Designs for sponsoring the Max V Truck Series for 2024. And thank you to the admin team as well, who had put in a little extra work to get playoff ready here in this past week or so. That's all we got for you here tonight. On behalf of the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, until we meet again from Atlanta Motor Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long. And congratulations to Mike Milfeld Jr. on career victory number 1 with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.